basically emphasized, more than just one skill. And so that's kind of what we're doing with the rune system. And basically what it is you get random drops, which was kind of like our nod to Diablo, the first Diablo. We really wanted to kind of get that random skill feeling back without actually doing random skills. So you get these random drops, and you can slot them in different skills, different spells, and they're removable. So it's not like you're stuck with it. And half the fun is just testing out the different runes and seeing what they do.
What can players expect from the new Battle.net? Is it going to remain free, and will there be any concept of downloadable content involved with it?
Basically, what we're doing with Battle.net is we are making the best online gaming experience. We're trying to reduce the amount of griefing, the amount of unpleasantness in any form in the multiplayer experience. There's co-op. There's going to be co-op. There's going to be some form of PvP. Just really taking the multiplayer experience into a very easy to use, very fun. A good example of that is ways of trading between characters, or ways of even trading between your characters. It's very difficult for me to give something from one of my characters to another one of my characters without having them loaded into the same game. We're talking about things like that. We're not really giving a lot of specifics yet. In terms of the financial model, our goal has always been to make the game first. What's going to make the best game, and then we'll figure out what we need to do to support that on a financial model side. Obviously we understand what people want and don't want from a financial model. So, as Blizzard always does, we're going to take into account what people are looking for, and what we don't ever want to feel like, we're ripping people off, or we like to give a lot of value for whatever money you spend on our games.
There was mention of quests and randomized adventures. Mm-hmm. I know the quest system in Diablo 2 was basically a 6 quest per chapter setup. Are we looking at something similar to that, or will there actually be carryover into the randomized adventures?
It's going to be different in a lot of ways. The random adventures, you can get random quests as well as random adventures. Some of them are very small. Just, you come upon a caravan that's under attack and you save them, or don't save them. But you could get quests that maybe even chain together that are random. And besides that, you have side quests and main story arc quests, and you don't only get these quests in town. Before it was very, very split. You get your quests in town, you go out and do them. Now it's kind of like, sure, you still get some of your quests in town, but you can have these random things happen, or things happen out in the world. We've done a lot with the randomization. What we did on the outdoors, the randomization in the dungeon is still pretty much the same. What we've done in the outdoors is statically built. So it's like where the towns are, where the major things you need to know are. But we've drop in random events, random little things. One time you might find the caravan there, one time you might find nothing, another time you might find a monster encounter. So it's like we just have this way of moving stuff around and using these things to kind of build up the feeling of a living and changing world.
Inventory screens and item management. Mm-hmm. Losing the grid system. Are you? I've heard mentions of there will be bags or other ways to increase inventory space in the future. What information can you share about that?
Well, once again, we're just looking for the best gaming experience, and we felt, you spend a lot of time just trying to figure out ways to fit things into your inventory when it was, the whole puzzle. Mm-hmm. And that kind of took away, for a lot of us, from the fun of, running forward and getting into the action. And we're toying with a whole bunch of different ideas. None of that stuff is finalized. I think Jay might have even spoken at length about it during his panels. But we really it's kind of like the same philosophy we have with everything else. We don't want to get in your way of having a fun time with the game. So whatever we can do to make that an extension of the immediacy of the game, we're going to do.
We've seen a couple of the different character skills revealed here, especially from the wizard. Everyone wants to know about the wizard. In Diablo 2, there was 30 unique character skills, pretty much in total. Are there any character skills that are going to be specifically agnostic, like across all characters, or is it all going to be each one specific for each class?
it's going to be very specific for each class because they play so much differently. I mean, the reason our goal for the different characters is that they each kind of have a different gameplay niche. You know, we don't want to have a lot of overlap between the character classes because if you do, then it's kind of like, well, do we need both of these? Can we combine them into one character? It's just, you know, there's so many different reasons for it. You get the replayability, which is one of our main selling points in the Diablo franchise, because I don't know if you've played different characters in the demo yet, but it feels a lot different just from a skill standpoint. They complement each other in multiplayer games really well. You know, so there's just a whole raft of reasons we customize them differently, and we really, you know, if we had one skill that everybody had access to that kind of starts watering it down, you know, it really makes it more generic feeling.